Morning students, today we are going to continue chapter 8 earthquakes. Now hazardous effects of earthquakes. Hazardous means dangerous or risky. The direct effects of earthquakes are the change in the earth's surface. Vibration in the crust may lead to development of cracks or fissures in the rocks. What is the meaning of fissures? Fissures means a narrow opening or crack in the rocks. The Guyana earthquake of 1967 caused a fissure in the ground which measured about 25 km in length and 10 to 15 cm in width. Land may subside along such fissures or cracks, and it may lead to sudden change in the level of sea or land in the concerned area. Change in the crust of the earth may lead to a number of indirect effects such as landslides, bursting of dams, blocking of the course of rivers, and subsequent flooding when the blockage is removed by accumulated water. Means of transport are interrupted due to damage to roads and twisting of railway lines. The earthquakes may damage large dams, power installations, and nuclear power plants. The earthquakes also damage underground pipelines and water systems. Strong earthquakes and originating below the sea bottom lead to formation of sea waves of extremely high magnitude. What is magnitude here? Strength of the earthquakes. Such waves caused by earthquakes are called tsunamis. As a result of a tsunami, the water of the ocean rushes to the coastal areas like a wall of water, submerging large areas and causing immense damage to life and property. The greatest danger in an earthquake is the collapse of houses. The severe earthquakes thus kill thousands of people and render many more homeless. Fires often accompany collapse of buildings, thus adding to losses. Such fires almost completely destroyed the Japanese cities of Tokyo and Yokohama in 1923. Now the constructive effects of earthquakes. Sometimes the earthquakes may produce some beneficial effects also. Shallow sea areas may be uplifted, providing more land. Formations of bays and gulfs in the coastal areas may provide harbor sites. Earthquakes may also lead to formation of springs, and sometimes rocks rich in valuable minerals may be brought to the surface. We come to know about the interior of the earth from the study of an earthquake waves. Distribution of earthquakes. No region of earth can be said to be completely free from earthquakes. Even the supposedly stable regions like the Deccan Plateau of India experience earthquakes. The earthquake of Latur in Maharashtra is a recent example of those occurring in the area of ancient igneous rocks. Nevertheless, all regions of the world are not equally prone. Prone means having a downward direction or slope to this hazard, to this danger. Some regions like Japan, Chile, Peru, Philippines, and California experience several earthquakes every year, as against most other regions experiencing only 2 to 3 earthquakes capable of causing damage to life and property. Special distribution of earthquakes. The earthquakes have a definite pattern of the distribution. There are 4 major belts in the world in which the earthquakes frequently occur. These earthquake belts are the Circum-Pacific Belt, the Mid-Atlantic Belt, the Mid-Continental Belt, Interplate Seismicity. The Circum-Pacific Belt, the Pacific Ring of Fire, is an area where large numbers of earthquakes and volcanic eruptions occur in the basin of the Pacific Ocean. In a 40,000 kilometer horseshoe shape, it is associated with a nearly continuous series of oceanic trends, volcanic arcs, and volcanic belt and or plate movement. The belt follow chains of island arcs such as Tonga and New Hebrides, the Indonesian archipelago, the Philippines, Japan and Kuril Islands, and the Aleutians, as well as other arc-shaped geomorphic features. What is geomorphic features here? Relating to a form of the landscape and other natural features of the earth's surface, such as the western coast of North America and the Andes Mountains. The Ring of Fire has 452 volcanoes and is home to over 75% of the world's active and dormant volcanoes. It is sometimes called the Circum-Pacific Belt or the Circum-Pacific Seismic Belt. About 70% of the world's earthquakes occur along the Ring of Fire. The Ring of Fire is a direct result of plate tectonics and the movement and collision of lithospheric plates. The eastern section of the ring is a result of the Nazca Plate and the Cocos Plate being subducted beneath the westward moving South American plates. Subducted means an instance of one moving object. The belt has following ideal conditions for the occurrence of earthquakes. Junction of continental and oceanic margins. Now, what is junction? Junction means a point where two or more things are joined. Second is zone of young folded mountains. Third one is zone of active volcanoes. Subduction zone of destructive or convergent plate boundaries. Now, convergent plate boundaries are also called destructive boundaries. Now, the mid-world mountain belt. Nearly 21% of the world's earthquakes occur in the mid-world mountain belt, and it extends parallel to the equator from Mexico across Atlantic Ocean, the Mediterranean Sea, from Alpine Caucasus Range to the Caspian Himalayan mountain and the adjoining lands. This zone has folded mountains, large depressions and active volcanoes. The mid-continental belt. This earthquake belt extends along the Alpine mountain system of Europe, North America through Asia, Minor Caucasia, Iran, Afghanistan and Pakistan to the Himalayan mountain system, including Tibet, the Pamir, the Tian Shan, Altai and the mountains of China, Myanmar and eastern Siberia. This zone is characterized by larger earthquakes of shallow origin and some of the intermediate origin. Deep focus earthquakes are almost absent in this belt. About 21% of the total earthquakes are recorded in this belt.